The sun glinted off the white marble buildings, the air hummed with the activity of a thriving port city. This was Caesarea Maritima, a jewel on the eastern shores of the Roman Empire. Built by Herod the Great, a client king of Rome, Caesarea was a testament to imperial power and ambition. Its harbour, a marvel of engineering, welcomed ships from every corner of the Mediterranean. Caesarea wasn't just a trading hub, it was a melting pot of cultures and religions. Jews, Greeks, Romans and Egyptians lived and worked side by side. This cultural blend, while vibrant, was also a breeding ground for tensions. Into this volatile mix stepped two men whose paths would intersect with dramatic consequences: the Roman governor, Antonius Felix, and the Apostle Paul. Their encounter, recorded in the biblical book of Acts, offers a glimpse into the complexities of Roman rule in the 1st century AD. It highlights the clash between faith and power, justice and corruption that defined this era. The story unfolds against the backdrop of Caesarea, a city that bore witness to the unfolding drama. Antonius Felix was an anomaly in the Roman world. Born into slavery, he rose to become the procurator of Judea, a position of significant power. His brother Pallas was a freedman who had become a close advisor to the Emperor Claudius. This connection propelled Felix's career.
I ruled Judea with an iron fist, known for my brutality and my penchant for enriching myself at the expense of the people.
His tenure was marked by unrest and violence. He faced rebellions and uprisings. Felix's approach to governance was cynical and opportunistic. He saw his position as a means to amass wealth and power. He showed little regard for the welfare of the Jewish population under his control. This disregard for justice and fairness would have dire consequences when he crossed paths with the Apostle Paul. Paul, a Jewish man from Tarsus, was a pivotal figure in the early Christian movement. He had been arrested in Jerusalem, accused of inciting unrest among the Jews. Fearful of a riot, the Roman tribune in Jerusalem sent Paul under heavy guard to Caesarea. There he was to stand trial before Felix. Paul's arrival in Caesarea marked the beginning of a long and drawn-out legal battle. He was a Roman citizen by birth. This gave him certain rights and protections. He was brought before Felix, not as a common criminal, but as a man deserving of a fair hearing.
I stand here, not as a criminal, but as a man with a message of faith, love, and a kingdom not of this world.
The stage was set for a dramatic encounter between two men from vastly different worlds. One, a powerful Roman official accustomed to giving orders. The other, a humble preacher who spoke of faith, love, and a kingdom not of this world. The charges against Paul were serious. He was accused of blasphemy, sedition, and inciting rebellion. Felix, however, found himself in a difficult position. He recognized that the accusations against Paul were largely politically motivated. The Jewish leadership in Jerusalem saw Paul as a threat. They were determined to see him silenced.
I must tread carefully. The Jewish leaders are powerful and unrest is the last thing I need.
Felix, always the pragmatist, hesitated to hand down a swift judgment. He kept Paul imprisoned in Caesarea. He hoped to appease the Jewish leaders while avoiding further unrest. He summoned Paul on several occasions. He listened to his defense and engaged in theological discussions.
I speak of a faith that transcends this world, a message of love and redemption.
Despite these meetings, Felix seemed incapable of reaching a decision. He was, according to some accounts, intrigued by Paul's message. However, he was ultimately more concerned with maintaining his own power and position. Paul's case dragged on, with no resolution in sight. Section 5. Enter Porcius Festus, a new governor, a different approach. After 2 years of indecision, Felix was recalled to Rome. He was replaced by a new governor, Porcius Festus. Festus was a career administrator. He was known for his more direct and decisive approach. He was eager to bring order to Judea. He sought to address the backlog of cases that had accumulated during Felix's tenure. Upon his arrival in Caesarea, Festus was immediately confronted with the issue of Paul's imprisonment. The Jewish leaders, sensing an opportunity, renewed their accusations against Paul. They urged Festus to transfer him to Jerusalem for trial.
I suspect their motives. They might be seeking to ambush Paul and have him killed before he could reach Jerusalem. No, I will examine the case myself.
Section 6. renewed accusations, Jewish leaders, and the demand for justice. Festus, wanting to understand the charges against Paul, invited the Jewish leaders to present their case in Caesarea. They arrived with a long list of accusations accusing Paul of heresy and sedition. They argued that he was a danger to Jewish law and Roman order.
Paul is a heretic. He threatens our laws and traditions.
He stirs up trouble against Roman authority. He must be punished.
Paul once again defended himself eloquently. He maintained that he had done nothing wrong.
I have done nothing wrong. My beliefs are consistent with Jewish law and pose no threat to Roman authority.
Festus, however, remained unconvinced. He realized that the charges against Paul were largely religious in nature. He was unwilling to get embroiled in a theological dispute. He saw a way out of the impasse.
I propose sending Paul to Rome to be judged by Caesar himself.
I appeal to Caesar.
Paul, sensing the danger of being sent back to Jerusalem, played his trump card. As a Roman citizen, he had the right to appeal directly to the emperor. "I appeal to Caesar," he declared. This declaration had a profound impact. It immediately halted any further proceedings against Paul in Caesarea. Festus, although initially surprised, had little choice but to grant Paul's request. To ignore the appeal of a Roman citizen was a serious offense. Paul's appeal was a strategic masterstroke. It ensured his safety from the Jewish authorities in Jerusalem. It also provided him with an unprecedented opportunity to present his case before the most powerful man in the Roman Empire. Paul's journey to Rome was fraught with peril. He endured a shipwreck, imprisonment, and the constant threat of illness. Throughout this ordeal, his spirit remained unbroken. He used his time in captivity to preach the gospel and to write letters that would become foundational texts for the Christian faith. Paul's arrival in Rome marked a turning point in the history of Christianity. He spent several years under house arrest, preaching and teaching. He welcomed all who came to hear his message. His trial before Caesar, although not explicitly detailed in the Bible, is believed to have resulted in his acquittal. Paul's legal victory, coupled with his unwavering faith and resilience, served as an inspiration to early Christians facing persecution. His journey to Rome, initiated by his appeal to Caesar, facilitated the spread of Christianity to the heart of the Roman Empire. The stories of Felix and Festus offer contrasting portraits of Roman rule in the 1st century AD. Felix embodies the corrupt and self-serving nature of some Roman officials. He was more interested in personal gain than in dispensing justice. His indecision in Paul's case stemmed from a desire to appease both the Jewish leadership and his own conscience. Festus, on the other hand, represents a more principled and pragmatic approach to governance. He was committed to upholding Roman law. He was less susceptible to political pressure. While he may not have been sympathetic to Paul's beliefs, he recognized the need for a fair trial. His decision to send Paul to Rome reflects a desire to avoid a miscarriage of justice. The encounter between Paul, Felix, and Festus highlights the enduring themes of justice, faith, and the power of one voice to challenge the status quo. Paul, a man of unwavering faith, stood before the mighty of the Roman Empire and demanded justice. His courage and eloquence in the face of adversity continue to inspire people around the world. The story of Paul's trial also underscores the important role that legal systems play in protecting the rights of individuals, even when those individuals hold unpopular or minority views. Paul's Roman citizenship and his knowledge of Roman law provided him with a crucial layer of protection. This protection ultimately allowed him to spread his message to the heart of the Roman Empire. The events in Caesarea serve as a reminder that the pursuit of justice is often fraught with challenges, setbacks, and delays. However, as Paul's story demonstrates, the pursuit of justice is a worthy endeavor, one that has the power to change the course of history.